No, I started dating Allison when I was 19.
Oh.
I thought 21.
20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 5 years I dated her, and then I married her. No, I've been in bed with her for the last 20 years. Jesus Christ. And the women, the black women, they were going, Mr. Johnny is so right. A proud Christian black man.
Well, it's almost hypnotic, the way he speaks.
Oh, yes. It was so hypnotic, I turned it off and almost vomited.
Well, Chris Darden went to sleep.
You're not kidding. Did you see that? He was actually sleeping. Look at that man. Handsome and God-fearing. He wouldn't lie. He would not lie.
He talks to you like he's your best friend.
Absolutely.
He's a snake oil salesman.
He's selling us a bill of goods, but I love him.
I'm buying it.
How could I go against Mr. Johnny? I mean, this man is such a proud brother, and he's worked his way up. You can tell that the man worked his way up.
And he's thinking in terms of slogans. He wants them to be remembering what he says. I want you to play
A stitch in time saved 9, Mr. Johnny.
number 13.
Number 13.
Johnny Cochran kept drumming this statement in and drumming it in.
All right. Number 13 it is, Robin.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. If it doesn't fit,
you must acquit. You must.
If it doesn't fit,
yes, sir.
you must acquit.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
You must acquit.
What was that
If it
about
doesn't
fit?
fit,
Fit or quit?
you must acquit. If it doesn't fit,
Well, it do fit. God damn it. I love Mr. Johnny.
So that's what they're going to be thinking when they go back in there. If it doesn't fit, we got to acquit.
I will one day be voting for this fine gentleman. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My poem is, this nitwit is full of... Yeah, right, exactly.
So anyway, let's listen to a bit of Johnny Cochran's argument as he takes apart the prosecution case step by step.
If the victims are white, that's all right.
Everything has to rhyme.
Right. All right, this is Johnny Cochran. Taking it from the top, Robin.
There you go.
these are the lies of the co-lead detective in this case. If you cannot trust the messenger, you can't trust the message.
Now, there's a lot more polish to the way he's delivering this.
You deserve a break today. So get up and get away.
Yes, sir.
To the McDonald's.
Yeah, but does that sell McDonald's? Of course it does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he's going to sell them this not guilty verdict. Here he is again.
That's right.
Again, castigating the detectives in the case.
Absolutely.
Van Adder,
It don't matter.
the man who carries the blood. Furman,
Vermin.
man who finds the glove. Remember those two phrases. Van Adder,
Matter.
the man who carries the blood. Furman,
Worse than a German.
the man who found the glove.
Hot diggity.
I think you can make fun, but I think the jury will be swayed.
No, please. Swayed by nonsense.
But they will be swayed nonetheless.
Well, you're saying they're stupid.
No,
That's what I think you said. Okay. I'm with you. I have every doubt that this jury even understands what a jury's supposed to do.
And when he continued his argument, he pointed out that Furman was the man who found a lot of the key evidence in the case.
O.J. might have done the killing, but I'm walking away with $2 million.
There you go.
Now remember that when you go in there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnny. Yeah. Okay, here's Johnny again.
He's the guy who's off this case, who's supposedly there to help this man, our client,
Yes, sir.
O.J. Simpson,
Yes,
who
sir.
then
I see this, I vote guilty.
goes out
It's called snake oil.
all by himself. All by himself. Now,
Sounds like the Ricky Lake show.
he's worried about bodies or suspects or whatever. Doesn't even take out his gun. He goes around the side of the house. And lo and behold, he claims he finds this glove.
Where's your
He
evidence?
says the glove is still moist and sticky. Now, under their theory, at 10:45, that glove is dropped. How many hours is that? It's now after 6 o'clock. So what is that, 7.5 hours?
What that tell you?
It's a testimony about drying time around here.
What does that tell you, goddammit?
What's that testimony about
See,
that
he's
rain
got
thing?
you all worked up.
Yeah, got me fired up. Innocent. Keep your eye on the prize, ladies and gentlemen. If we let this case get out of hand, next thing you know, someone else will be on trial. We got to do away with all these here trials. Mr. O.J. Simpson is innocent.
And again, about Mark Furman.
More?
Yeah.
Why are you torturing me with this?
Because
nonsense?
I enjoy Johnny.
He's the one who says the Bronco was parked askew, and he sees some spot on the door. He makes all of the discoveries. It's got to be the big man, because he's had it in for O.J. because of his views since '85.
His views. He's had it in for O.J.
What views?
Mark Furman's views.
Mark Furman's views about interracial relationships and about black people.
Not evidence there.
Here is Johnny again on Mark Furman.
Okay.
This man cannot be trusted. He is central to the prosecution. And for them to say he's not important is untrue. And you will not fall for it. Because as guardians of justice here, we can't let it happen. You must acquit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. If it doesn't fit,
quit, you must acquit.
If it doesn't fit,
It must acquit.
you must acquit.
Well, just
Yes,
remember,
Robin.
Just remember what Chris Darden said. Play cut 15, if you will.
15, okay.
We've shown you that he would have killed, could have killed, and did kill these two people.
But Johnny Cochran says, play number 14.
O.J. could not, would not, did not commit these crimes.
Phew. Well, what are you going to do? Back in the jury room.
Very difficult decision. Just take about 3 seconds.
Well, today, I think Johnny Cochran has a few more things to say. Then Barry Scheck will do his summation about
hate
the
that guy.
blood evidence. And then Johnny will come back on to wrap things up because he is the headliner.
Right.
And he's got to have the last word to this jury.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I also understand that O.J. Simpson has been, you wonder what he's scribbling and what he's doing in this case.
The guy in the Post had it right. He said he's scribbling on the pad the invitees to his party.
Party?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They say that O.J. told Barry Scheck when he gives his closing arguments that he'd better be a little bit more presentable. And he complained to him about the length of his hair
Really?
and how high it was on top.
Who complained?
O.J.
You could.
Really?
And so Barry Scheck came in with a shorter hairdo yesterday.
All right, O.J., way to really take control of the case.
Signing the paychecks.
That's right. Last night, I dreamed the jury not only convicted O.J., but Johnny Cochran, too. And Barry Scheck.
that'd be great.
That'd be great. All
You
three
know
of them.
what was very interesting to me during that trial yesterday? At the very beginning, when Johnny Cochran was starting out, he said, I had my wife look up 2 words for me last night.
What, punch in the face? That's 3. 4.
And then he made this big show of going back to his briefcase to get the definitions that his wife wrote down for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure the wife is sitting there in the courtroom so that all the black ladies on the jury can
Fine,
see
man.
that Johnny's married to a black woman.
Right.
And he is referring to her. Why does he need to tell you who looked up these definitions?
Because the ladies, look at this brother. Marries a black lady.
Say it.
And this is a man who could be with all kind of white women. And he with a black woman. Meanwhile, he beat the first black wife. The black wife has written a book about that. And he had a couple of white broads on the side. One who gave him a son, Johnny Cochran Jr.
Unfortunately, the jury's not privy to all of that, and Johnny's just playing up yesterday. I had my wife.
He should have had the first
Look
wife
up
there.
2 words for me
They should
like
have
that.
they should have had a black woman all bandaged sitting there. That's the first wife.
They should have been fidelity and abuse. Those are the
Yeah.
2 words he should have had looked up.
I had my present wife. I'm talking about the black wife, the second one that I didn't beat, and not the white one who gave me to Johnny Cochran Jr. Now, that is the one sitting over there, and that's what I want you to pay attention to. They should put him on trial. He should be next.
I thought that was awfully interesting.
I like all the black women that applaud Johnny Cochran at these charity events. I love that. I'd love to interview these women. That's who I want to interview. I don't want to interview. People say, who you want to interview? They say, you want to interview Barbara Streisand or Sylvester Stallone or the Pope. No, I want to interview black women who give Johnny Cochran a standing ovation. That's who I. John is a good man. Yes, it's true. A brother who worked his way up with the bootstrap. That's right. I gave him a standing ovation. I'll do it again. Let him punch me in the face. God
That's
damn it.
right.
I love him.
She probably deserved it.
Yippee, Johnny.
Nowhere near as fascinating as these women who stand up could a celebrity interview be. Nowhere near as fascinating. Repeat after me. Nowhere near as fascinating.
Nowhere near as fascinating.
And now repeat this.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That's
If it
right.
doesn't fit,
That's right.
you must acquit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
I believe
If
Mr.
it
Johnny is
doesn't fit,
hypnotizing us.
You must acquit.
All right.
Watch this watch.
Awful, awful, awful. How do you sleep at night? I'm talking to you, Fred.
No, I'm sorry.
Not Johnny Cochran. I know how he sleeps.
Yeah, he's rich.
Like a log.
Remember
He's
the
rich.
name?
That's right.
Charles Van Doren?
Charles Van Doren, yes. Mamie Van Doren's husband.
No.
Who is Charles Van Doren?
Charles Van Doren was the game show contestant
Yes.
back in the 50s who played the game 21 and was given the answers and wound up in that big scandal after winning $129,000.
Yes.
Well, Charles Van Doren, who also became famous once again last year because of the movie Quiz Show,
Great movie.
which detailed the events surrounding the 21 show scandal.
What, did he die?
Nope, he is sick and in the hospital. He's in critical condition after collapsing at a gas station. Oh, Tom, he's 69 years old and was discovered bleeding from the nose and ears as he laid beside his car.
That's where I found Jackie this morning. I said, you get yourself together, pal. You got a job to do.
Oh, sorry.
This was a man who, after the scandal broke, had to resign his position as an English instructor at Columbia University and return to his family's estate up in Cornwall and stayed there. Wrote a few books, but
Cornhole.
pretty much in seclusion after that period.
Right.
So there he is. He's in the hospital in critical condition. All right, have a big laugh.
Go ahead, Jackie. People laugh at you. All right, here's the Ku Klux Klan guy. Another message of hate. Is any particular topic here? I would guess it'd be OJ.
He's all over the place.
Oh, is he?
Many topics, huh?
Wake up, white people. This is Daniel Carver. People, I am a racist. I am a bigot, and I'm proud of it, people. Several people have asked me to comment on the Mark Furman.
Do you think that he really knows how to say people and he's just playing it up?
No,
People? You think he just talks that way?
I don't think Daniel knows much of anything.
Really? People.
I don't know. I would love to actually see him record these messages.
Yeah.
Because there's a great moment in here where he's like running off that list of racist terms, and you can hear him he stops, and you can hear him turning the piece of paper over.
Right. It must be pretty funny to watch. All right, he's talking about Mark Furman.
The officer who was involved on the nigger O.J. Simpson case. People, all Mark Furman has done is he got caught doing the same thing that everybody else does. Everyone uses the word nigger because that's what you call a woolly-headed, wide-nosed, bubble-lipped, filthy, black-skinned, stinking, half-ape nigger. Everyone will quickly condemn you for saying the terrible nigger word, but they all use it themselves. Eddie Murphy and Red Fox and many other nigger comedians got rich hollering nigger, nigger, nigger.
He loves that word, and he says it so effortlessly. No hesitation. I'd love to do a documentary on him. follow him around with the kids and the grandkids, see what the hell's going
I
on.
hate to think of him with family.
We actually shot one when we were at Channel 9, but
Did
we never...
you see the family?
Oh, I know I sent the crew out to record the,
Did you ever see it?
what he calls the cement niggers that he
Yeah.
makes.
Yeah, we looked at his front yard.
Yeah.
With
But-
all those signs.
You know, then we stopped doing the show, so we never got to air it.
Niggers is niggers, plain and simple. We've called them niggers. We've called them colored people. We've called them blacks. And now we call them Afro-Americans, which is a big lie. Niggers ain't African-Americans. They're Africans living in America. White people in our home county here, I've made a bit of news lately with my yard signs. Several of my signs have been up for years, and never has there been a problem until the Blackshear Place Baptist Church put up a sign of their own in front of my house.
Wonder what's going on there. He started talking about that when we called him. He evidently has for years he's had big signs in front of his house about niggers.
Right, they're racist signs that
Yeah.
say all kinds of things. Much of what he says on his tape.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? I mean,
They're huge.
I mean,
they're billboards.
It's unbelievable.
Gotta see it.
I mean, you think like even me, like I'm a radio guy and I'm pretty high profile. But when I go home, my home is my castle. I like to get away from work.
You try to close off from your workaday world.
You would even think like a racist. He goes home. He doesn't really want to, have his nigger signs hanging in his house. But yet, he's 24. He's 7 days a week. Yeah, 24/7. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
This says red, yellow, black, and white. They are all precious in his sight. This stupid, ridiculous sign has caused a lot of trouble. It's caused fights. It's caused people to be arrested. People have been hurt. Now, I support free speech 100%, but the truth about this sign, it tells an outright lie. If niggers are precious, then why were they made so dumb? Why were they made so ugly? Nigger girls are so ugly, and nigger boys don't even want them.
Well, so wait a second. So from what I get from this tape, so Daniel has his signs, and they made him rip down his signs.
No.
Well, that's what he told us, though.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, somebody made him rip down his signs, and then something happened where the church, it seems...
Apparently what it sounds like is his signs didn't cause a problem until this other sign went up.
Right. The church put up a sign, red, yellow, black, or white.
They are all precious in his sight.
Right. And he says that caused a lot of problems.
That sign caused the problem.
Yeah. Not his nigger sign.
All nigger boys want white women. These nigger men want white women in hopes that some of the nigger might not be in their mongrel offspring. Because nobody wants little nigglets for offspring. Those little nigglets are just like little monkeys, and they're ugly. And anyway, this country...
He's a beauty expert.
He says ugly, pretty funny.
Ugly.
He says it ugly.
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 Golly.
They're pretty ugly. People.
This county here, Hall County, Georgia's trying to pass a law to make me take down my signs.
Oh, so evidently...
Oh, they're not down. He's trying to fight the law.
I guess you can't hang nigger signs, and
Well, no, he says everything was fine until that other sign went up. Now they're passing a law about his sign.
Yeah. Damn church.
Wreck everything.
Wreck everything. Everything was going along just fine.
That tell the truth about filthy, stinking niggers and Mexicans. Now, I've always known that Congress couldn't pass a law taking away my free speech, and I thought even the little tiny politicians in Hall County knew about the Bill of Rights and how it protects free speech. One of these little politicians has a little paint factory back behind my house where he's a manager, and he says that my signs are so offensive that when he has black people or when he has any people coming to his little factory, he takes them a back route so that they won't have to see my signs. I really believe he's telling a downright lie. Anyone who visits Hall County will go out of their way just to see this display of signs. Hundreds of people take pictures.
So wait a second. So he must live in front of a factory,
Or near one.
and the people, some guy's saying he has to take people out of their way so they won't see
Right,
the
he has
signs.
to go around the back.
And he can't believe it because he says everybody comes to see his signs. How could
What are you
that be?
talking about? People make special trips to
This
see
is-
these signs.
it's like the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. People make special pilgrimage to see nigger signs. You know this is a lie because everybody wants to see my nigger signs. People from all over the world come to see them.
Every weekend of these signs so they can go back home and show their friends. No way can these cowards force me to take down my signs legally, people. Do you know why the Constitution protects free speech?
Why?
It's because of people like me who are politically incorrect. One lady on this little panel of commissioners told me that they were going to let me keep one little sign so I could express my opinion. Who in the heck does she think she is?
What a war. Can you imagine the people down there that are at war with Daniel?
Okay, you're going to have one sign.
Hey, can you imagine this big meeting, this town meeting, and Daniel comes in, she goes, listen, you are not going to have this sign up. And then he goes, yes, I am. You go, no, you're not.
I am going to have my nigger signs up.
Yeah, right.
One sign, then, so you can express yourself.
One small nigger sign. Well, no, I want big nigger signs.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Right, the Constitution protects me.
Mr. Carver, can't you see that one small nigger sign will do the trick?
No way.
Sometimes you go too far, overkill.
Do you think they will call the child killer, Janet Reno, to come over to my house with army tanks?
The what?
The what killer?
Did he say
Child killer, maybe.
Oh,
That's what he
Janet Reno.
Okay.
Like they did in Waco, or maybe just send a couple of the murdering FBI snipers with orders to shoot to kill like they done Randy Weaver's wife and son. Or maybe Hall County might even handle it themselves, just like they did when they busted down the door of Mr. Dillard Free in the middle of the night and shot him to death. Of course, Mr. Dillard Free was 80 years old and blind. Why, people, I don't ask anyone to agree with my signs, but I do ask that you support my right to free speech. Because if I lose free speech, then you will be next to.
How do we feel about Daniel's signs? Imagine he's your neighbor and you're trying to sell your house.
Oh, well, you better sell it to a racist.
You live next door to that kook with the nigger signs?
Oh, jeez. We got to see those, Howard.
Yeah, we got to get down there.
We see 'em.
We should just take a road trip.
We had pictures of him once.
Not of the sign.
Yes.
Did we?
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember the pictures.
I remember seeing him.
I didn't realize they were on the front of his house, though.
You know, and they're not, like, well printed or anything.
No,
It's
they're
Daniel.
painted, yeah.
I'm
Just,
picturing him like the Little Rascals sign.
Right.
Come see a
Yeah,
show.
like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Right.
We had pictures from like 6 years ago.
All right.
They may have gotten better since.
I don't know how I mean, a guy has a right to hang signs, but then again, I'm thinking like my own neighborhood, if I had a guy, live next door with big nigger signs. I mean, I could have a problem with that.
yeah.
It limits who you can sell to.
That's right. It does cut down, the neighborhood.
We should go
I
interview
also
his
think
neighbor.
it would limit the price you could have.
Exactly.
Jackie's right. We should not only go take a look at the house, we ought to interview some of his neighbors.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hell, we chipped in for this.
I mean, that's a fun controversy. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, he lives in a town where there are no black people.
Right.
So I don't doubt that his neighbors like these signs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's pretty horrible. Just big ugly signs on somebody's
That's
house.
what I'm saying.
Let alone what,
Forget,
let alone,
yeah,
what
let
they're
alone
saying.
let alone their nigger signs. But who wants a guy with just big ugly signs hanging in front of his house?
His neighbors might be out of their minds
Yeah.
about it.
Hey,
I
dude,
doubt it.
can you keep that indoors?
If I remember correctly, the house looks like sort of like a motorhome without wheels on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel does not live in an upscale neighborhood.
No. Yeah, I know you're picturing like a real big nice house.
That ain't Great Neck.
Yeah. Yeah. Mowed lawns.
Xanadu.
Yeah.
Who's it? Wake up, white people. People, I may have to fight these dirty county rascals in court.
That's a long
I
message.
need some donations from you to help me hire lawyers.
The legal
Free
defense fund.
speech must remain, people.
I want
Send a
Johnny
few dollars
Cochran.
to Daniel Carver. We will keep free speech.
Boy, that's a long message.
A lot going on.
Like going on there. Well, we'll have to check in with Daniel, see what happens. It's kind of interesting. We got to go cover the town meetings. It'll be cool.
He should
Mr.
tell us when these things
Carver.
are coming up.
Nobody here has a problem with you hating the niggers. We just want to make sure that the signs aren't up. The signs it's just unattractive to the neighborhood.
Well, now they're putting up signs. It's going to get out of hand.
Not
The
my
niggers are
problem.
putting up their signs over at their church.
That's right. See Johnny Cochran spouting off at the mouth. The man's got to protect his interests.
Signs on every house.
He has signs on every house.
Every house has their declared affiliation.
It's like, Daniel's house is, I hate niggers. Then the next house is, I hate the guy who hates the niggers. Then the church says, we're all brothers. Out of all three signs, Daniel thinks the one that's most offensive is the one on the church. City councilwoman doesn't care about anything. She wants to ban all signs.
She wants all signs down.
All right.
She just wants Daniel's sign reduced in size, and
Right.
you have one little one.
Yeah, make a small nigger sign.
That won't do. That will not do.
All right. So just to keep you updated on what's going on with the KKK guy, that's the latest. So he's always up to something interesting.
He's always in a scruff, a battle.
That's right. Constant sign. Whole neighborhood full of signs.
Everybody has an opinion.
I don't hate niggers, but I'm not crazy about them. It's, big sign. They're all right.
I hate your signs.
Yeah, like anti-sign sign. What a neighborhood. A neighborhood on fire. We'll be back right after these words. F you. Kiss mine ass. Kiss my big black ass. Oh, I got such gas. Excuse me, Robin.
Oh, boy.
Hey, record this one.
This is every day at this time.
Did you get that?
I hope I was talking over it.
Shame yourself.
That's what I'm going to start doing, talking over.
Yeah, thanks.
I am. Stop you from doing
People like to hear that. They'll start to resent you.
it. They resent me now.
Boy, is this stinking here, huh, guys?
Thanks a lot, man.
Nobody beats the Wiz. Everywhere computer game software is sold.
How can you talk about the Wiz at a time like this?
I have to take a Wiz.
Smells like a burn cycle in here now.
But Burn Cycle, it's really good. Go over, get it for this weekend. You'll really enjoy it.
94 WISP.
Oh, be quiet. Take it like a man.
To the Howard Stern Show.
At this point in my career, I will never change for anybody. I'm not changing my show. If the Pope comes to New York and asks me to change it, I will not do it, even though I love him. I love the Pope so much. And I want to thank Jesus Christ for coming into my life. And that's a separate issue. And I don't want to get into it. I love Jesus. I love the crown. I want a hat of my own, a big giant Pope hat, and I'm going to buy one when the Pope comes to town. I'm going to wear it when he's here. I'm trying to get an audience with him. Can you imagine? Yes, Howard, what do you want?
Change your show.
Change your show.
Could I have your article?
Oh, please, Your Holiness, don't ask me to change the show. You must change your show. Oh, Christ.
Do you love Jesus?
I do, Your Holiness. I do love Jesus, but I got to be honest with you. I'm not changing the show.
Then you will change.
Do you love him so much? Can't you just keep the dick jokes, but ease up on the Schwarzes? Your Holiness, wait a second. You're telling me I could still do the dick jokes?
And the homo stuff.
Yes, homo stuff is good.
It's good.
We do not like homos.
Disparage the homos.
Bella Lugosi.
Disparage the homos.
Children of the night.
Oh, children of the night. Wait a second, Your Holiness. You want me to... I can keep in the dick jokes.
The dick jokes.
I can disparage the homos.
Disparage the homos.
But you want me to ease up on the Schwarzers?
Ease up on the Schwarzers.
I can't, Your Holiness. I cannot change my show for anyone, even you, and I love
Talk about Robin's cans. Blah. Drink this, all of you. This is my blood.
This is, it's not like we're asking you to change the whole show.
Change the show.
All your homo material will be intact. Yes. All your homo material is good.
Break Jackie's balls. That is wonderful.
You like when I break Jackie's balls?
Blah, yes. I am the Pope.
He's coming to town. He's selling mugs. It's like one of Jackie's shows. He's selling Pope mugs.
I am Johnny the Pope Man.
I don't know, man. Come on, want me in, man. But if someone from the show actually died, Like Robin's out today with cancer, and I hope she gets over it. No, but I'm
No,
serious.
I know exactly what you're talking about. If someone from the show died,
It would be just very, very weird. It would be very strange.
Who would you miss the most?
Well, I don't know. I assume it's going to be Jackie that goes first. I just do because he's the oldest, and also he's in the he drinks and.
But that's why I think he'll live
Not in
forever.
bad shape, though.
No, you're not in bad shape, but I think it'll just come over you like real quick. Like it will be one of those sudden things, and everyone will just go, "Yeah, it makes sense." Jackie partied hard and enjoyed life, but
Had to happen.
now he's gone. I'll probably have to go visit your wife and comfort her.
It'll be Ghost. Jackie will be
Yeah.
roaming around the house. Oh!
That's why I'm not dying.
Oh, here's Ted. And I want to take some phone calls, and then I want to go out on the street and get us a guest newscaster. I don't even know if I'll play the whole thing, but you got to just hear him deliver his lines and know that Fred had to say each line to him phonetically because he couldn't read them.
But there was nothing funnier than Fred telling him the line and him repeating them
Yeah, and getting them wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
to get to the...
Welcome to Sucrete and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Excellent. It's a story about the time
See, then you're all right. Excellent is okay.
That he was good at.
That he was good at. One word.
travels of Sucrete, a pudgy, puzzle-headed judge's daughter, and Ted. Excellent. A hopelessly lecherous Afro-American janitor. Excellent. One day, Sucrete was riding in Ted's elevator, and while going to the 18th floor, it mysteriously took them to the year 1865. Excellent.
Never mind that, you future defendant. Get me to the 18th floor, tout suite, and jurisprudence.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent.
You are an unintelligible apostle of ignorance.
Thank you.
What?
That I will never forget. Fred coached him for an hour on whoa.
Whoa.
And Fred's going, no, more with feeling. Whoa. And Ted would go, whoa. And it went on for I'm telling you, it went on for a really long time.
No emotion in there.
No emotion.
No emotion.
Happening! We're shooting like a rocket!
Excellent.
Why do you keep saying excellent?
Because I can't say quintessence. Creme de la creme or PS de la zista.
They found themselves traveling through time.
What was he saying? Because I say excellent because I can't say what?
PS the resistance.
No, but
Clem.
Clem what?
What was that first word?
What word is he saying?
Clandestine.
Clandestine?
PMS.
And they finally landed. April 15th, 1865, in the theater where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated.
This is where Lincoln got shot. Grody. Awesome. Let's go save him.
We must save Lincoln
No time to waste, dude.
for the future of democracy,
Excellent.
so Lincoln can preserve our country.
Excellent.
And will also get media attention, like people are talking.
You playing that steakhouse again? Damn, woman. Come on, excrete.
That's secrete.
What's the difference?
Excrete is a bodily function.
Well, that's what you look like. Come on, let's go save Lincoln.
But wait a minute, we have to go to the candy counter before the show starts.
What? We must stop the killing.
Well, I want buttered popcorn.
So Ted and Sucrete go back in time to save Lincoln, and of course Sucrete wants to eat, and Ted wants to save Lincoln.
3 boxes of bonbons, juicy fruits,
Come on, Secrete.
milk duds, a large Coke, and Raisinets.
Come on. Lee Harvey Oswald will be fine any moment.
You idiot.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Like that should roll off anybody's tongue. It's a pretty well-known name.
It's not Lee Harvey Oswald who killed Lincoln. It's Shirley Booth.
You mean the guy who played Hazel? Awesome.
Step right up. Step right up. Get your jujubes. Ooh, what'll it be, fellas?
I'm no fella.
Ooh, sorry. What's your candy choice?
Hurry up, Shakreet.
I'll have 2 boxes of
everything.
That is not funny. Give me a case of Raisinets.
They haven't been invented yet.
I'll wait.
Hurry, discreet.
I'm not discreet.
No kidding with that big fat ass of yours.
Please, my food. My food.
Lincoln's been shot.
Lincoln's been shot.
Oh my God. You mean we miss Lincoln being shot?
No. I forgot to order a large Pepsi.
Excellent.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Sad but true. Sucrete and Ted missed an
See, don't you miss Ted more now? I wish I could dig him up and stuff him and bring him back. Ted's probably all bones by now.
Oh.
He's probably been completely eaten away. I wish I had his skull on my desk. I would honor it. I'd put a big fat cigar in his mouth.
Job well done.
Job well done, right?
Opportunity of a lifetime to save.
I want more.
Freddie just handed me, what are these? These are outtakes
These are
of Ted?
outtakes. I don't remember which bit it was for.
I was rehearsing a bit with Ted.
I think Jackie's also trying to help coach him as well.
We
Let me
laughed
see.
our asses off.
Excellent. Let's start again. Excellent. 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 Excellent.
Excellent. I mean, just getting him to say the word excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Somebody just gave you $1 million, you know.
Right. Oh.
Somebody just sat on your face. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. 6 elevator doors.
No, it's like, you know what it is? It's like almost like you're like, something's happening, you're like going, whoa!
Whoa!
One more time. Crazier.
Whoa!
One more when it's quiet.
Whoa! Whoa! Big. Whoa!
Someone said big whoa, and then he went big whoa.
It's too funny.
Whoa! Whoa!
A couple of short ones like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Seems like they had to bring me in now. To get, I guess he was too unruly. Howard, you better come in and work with Ted.
Whoa!
Repeat after me, all right? Because I can't say.
Because I can't say.
Quintessence.
Quintessence.
No, wait. You got to wait until I say it. And leave
You never got this concept.
Wait till I say it and then repeat
The
it.
whole thing, because I can't say quintessence.
Because I can't say quintessence.
Because I can't say quintessence.
Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
Or pièce de résistance.
Or pièce de résistance.
Or pièce de résistance.
Or pièce de résistance. De résistance.
De résistance.
De résistance.
Hey,
Hey, this is where Lincoln.
Look at Jackie.
That's so funny.
Got assassin. Shot.
Hey, this is where Lincoln got a shot.
See, you're trying to say assassinated and you can't get it out. So you say shot instead.
This is where Lincoln got
I love that.
shot. This is where Lincoln got assass. Whoa!
I miss that guy.
So funny.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. It's weird when someone from the show dies. What do you got? Pictures of Nicole dead?
Yeah.
Let me see those.
Get ready to be grossed out.
Really? Murder photos?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Oh, my God. Look what he did to her.
Disgusting.
Look what he did to her.
Look at him.
Yeah, look at him. He's all upset. I didn't do this. How could the jury look at that and not put... Oh, look at Ron Goldman. Holy mackerel. How's the Globe get this stuff? Wow, look at Nicole, man. Oh, my God. He really was angry. You know, first of all, nobody gets murdered like this unless they're really angry at somebody.
Her blonde hair is so caked with blood that
it's dark. He did it. He just finally snapped. If that jury doesn't put... I don't know. What's this Seinfeld girl? Can't get enough sex? Julia Dreyfus? I forget about Nicole.
Yeah,
Let me see this. Seinfeld's sidekick, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, has exploded out of her dowdy shell to become one of Hollywood's hottest sex sirens, both on and off the TV screen. This side of Julia has been waiting to bust out, says TV critic Ray Richmond. Oh, that's because she wore a dress that showed off her breasts? Yeah, that really, I didn't realize she was that good looking.
Yeah. She's married, though.
But she's married to, like, that guy from Saturday Night Live who's not even funny. She probably could use it from a guy like myself.
I would think so.
Yeah, I could really deliver the goods.
Funny, you look great in that dress, man.
Look at Nicole.
Make up your
Hey,
mind.
look out.
We're jumping between sections.
And look at Ron Goldman, man. He's worse.
He's all contorted and stuff.
It looks like he cut his arm off. Like, what's that? What is that, his shirt?
Yeah, it looks like it's draped over him, but his head is hanging like it shouldn't be hanging. You know?
Yeah, right. Well, because his head's almost off his. Man, OJ went nuts.
Now, how come they're going to print these disgusting pictures, but they black out her neck? Like, what's the point?
I don't know. Like, show it.
They're showing everything else.
It's the next issue.
The Globe is cool. Everybody just wanted to see that. Not for the squeamish.
No.
I handle that. I mean, women's private parts turn me off more than seeing that. This is easier to look at.
Yeah, you want to see? I showed you a really bad picture one time. There's this book called Hollywood Babylon. They show an actress that was like cut into pieces.
Yeah.
And they found her torso with all the limbs like a couple feet away.
What is this? Psychic guru is controlling Courtney Cox? Oh, my God. That's more of a tragedy. Well, you know what it is? The L.A. station's like, well, we're going to have to cut off your show at 10 o'clock because, we got to jump right to the O.J. verdict. I'm like, do you guys really honestly believe anyone's going to tune to you for the O.J. verdict?
You're going to be on CNN.
You know what? I'm just not going to react to it. I don't know what to tell them to do. I could tell them, I could say to them, listen, jerk-offs, don't break away for OJ coverage because no one's going to, you know what? If they break away to OJ coverage, you know what it means? For the 5 dolts in the audience who don't know that the jury verdict is coming down right now, they're all going to tune over to a legitimate news station. They're not going to get it from, KLSX.
Well, you should
classic rock radio.
Well, you should, if you can't compete on that level, there should always be a station that's doing something where people who aren't interested can go.
Yeah, it's just like I remember during the Kennedy assassination when they're having the funeral on TV. Channel 11 here in New York ran cartoons. I remember being grateful for that because I was a little kid and I could have given a rat's ass that the president was shot.
I remember the same thing, except I think it was when the Pope died in like 66.
It was the Pope died. I remember the Pope died and I was watching the Three Stooges on Channel 5. There's 2 channels in New York, no matter what's going on, Channel 5 and 11, that don't do any coverage. I mean, Channel 5 now has changed because Fox owns it, but Channel 11 is still a holdout. It's an independent station. They don't give a rat's ass what's going on. If there's nuclear war, there'll be 3, there'll be the little rascals. And they'll just, KLSX in Los Angeles, the station we're on, is Channel 11, and we're the Three Stooges. So I would say keep the Three Stooges on. And you know what? I was going to call my agent last night when you called me and just say, would you explain the world to these guys? That why not just be consistent? Who do they think, I love radio guys. Who do they think are going to tune to the classic rock station for OJ coverage and stay with it?
I'm telling you, the guys that I spoke to, they were like...
I'm a radio listener. All they got to do is put themselves in there. They're not that much different than the regular listener. Who can we talk to about this?
We could talk to our program director, our general manager in San Diego, or
our general manager in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we could talk to him.
Bob Moore. Big Bobby Moore.
He left. He was on my answering machine. No kidding. It must have been about 3 minutes. And why
doesn't he call Buchwald, my agent? Why is he calling you?
And all he was doing was leaving phone number. He left me his home number, his cellular number, then his program director's number.
He knows to call my agent.
He left me 20 numbers.
All right, do me a favor. We'll get him on the phone this morning, okay? Because I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's really, in my mind, it's a no-brainer. Bob, I'm going to ask Bob Moore the following question. Bob, you're sitting in traffic. You're listening to me. Suddenly, because this is Los Angeles. In New York, we don't have this problem. At 10 o'clock, the OJ verdict is going to be announced. And what do? Do you go on your radio station and remind the few people that forgot about it to go listen to another station for the OJ verdict? I mean, I know the second I'm listening to a station I hear they're going to give an OJ verdict, I'm punching to a legitimate news station. Hey, hoofa. I know they have a cockamamie theory like, well, we've got to represent to people in Los Angeles that we're there during the big events. Right. But no, you don't.
You know what I was thinking? Do you know, is Cato still on the air out there?
Yeah, I'm sure he is, but, I mean, why turn to him? Watch, now he'll be a babbling brook of information, now that the trial's over. I tell you what, let's take a break, and then I'll tell you what I think the jury voted. We can go around the room, and everyone can give their prediction. And if you want, I would like to do a little wagering, boys, and let's not talk during the commercials.
And why don't we do seal?
I'm sorry, you got to get a mic that works. You know what? Grab Billy's mic. That one works.
There's a lot of different ways it could go, even if it were guilty.
Well, well, wait a second. Just wait till we get back.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Jackie, you got a mic?
Hello?
Is that working?
You got Billy on?
Wait a second.
Hello?
Try it now.
Hi.
Okay.
No, I was going to say we should do sealed envelopes.
Turn your mic off. My agent, Don, called and said, the OJ verdict is in. I went, shut up. What are you talking about? He goes, no, it's in. You got to turn on your TV. I couldn't believe it. Then Dominic called in 2 seconds later. Dominic Barber.
I thought he would have beat Don.
No, he missed by seconds.
Because you know why? Because he doesn't have the inside line.
Right. He missed by seconds. It was Dominic Barber, bloated attorney. What does it mean? What does it mean? And I got did you guys get a strange feeling in your stomach when the OJ verdict came in? I was
chilling.
I was like, oh man, I can't believe it, because, you want the right thing. You want to make sure that OJ goes to jail. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming that OJ did it.
Yeah, it's like in a couple hours he could theoretically walk out of that building.
And there's no way that I could see that happening. I mean, there's no way anyone in America could live with OJ walking out of the building going, okay, right, I'm free, because he did it.
Little wave to the judge.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
So anyway, and then I called Robin to tell her, because I had a feeling that she was out of it and wouldn't know. And I figured if she's coming in, she better watch the coverage. Right. And then Dominic calls up and goes, well, what it means is that OJ is acquitted.
What?
Because I've been on a lot of these cases. There's a very strong argument that he is acquitted. I said, you want to know something? I'm going to tell you what I think. Because, well, the jury didn't look at him, though. That means he could be guilty. I go, yeah, I'll tell you what I think. And he goes, but, in a lot of these cases, he goes, do you know why Judge Ito made him wait a day? This is the first guy I heard say this, by the way. I haven't heard anyone say it. Dominic, I go, why would Judge Ito make us wait a day for the verdict? It seems absurd. To me, it seems like, hey, if OJ's innocent, let the guy go now. I mean, why should he have to wait around?
Why one more day?
And then I thought he was going to say, because of the race riots, they got to prepare for him and all this. And I go, well, that's ridiculous. You don't hold up for some supposed race riot. Which, by the way, I don't care which way the verdict goes. I don't think black people care all that much about OJ.
Well, Gorilla was saying, half in jest this morning. He goes, I hope he's innocent because I don't want to go through the riots again.
No, I don't think there's going to be any riot. And what did he have to go through for the riots? The riots happening in L.A. Who cares? And if anything, the black people are going to burn down their own homes, so it don't make a difference. It's not going to affect any white people.
Well, sometimes the fire spreads into the white neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
Sparks getting carried from the west to coast.
Yeah. So, no, I don't think black people are that passionate about OJ. I mean, I think deep down inside, black people know OJ did it. I think that this whole thing about, hey, man, he's innocent, is just like, it's just the whole race thing and trying to tick white people off. I don't think deep down inside they really care, and I don't think they see black OJ as a black man. You know, he was living the white man's life, marrying white women, the whole thing. But anyway, that's my vibe on it. So, you know, I'm talking to Dominic. He goes, do you know why the OJ, you know why Judge Ito made everyone wait? He made everyone wait because, this is according to Dominic, most cases, right up until the end, if the defense gets nervous and the prosecution gets nervous, they can actually do a plea bargain right now before the jury verdict is read.
They can?
That's according to Dominic. I haven't seen one expert say this except for Dominic.
I don't know that's true.
Like in anticipation of what's going to happen?
Dominic says he has represented guys on criminal, like murder charges.
It's like, do you want to change your bet just before the
and the jury verdict comes back, and you get nervous about your case. You know, the jurors didn't look at you, and he says in one of his cases, they struck a deal. The guy, instead of a life sentence, the guy took 25 years, and jury verdict came back. They found him innocent. The guy had to do 25 years.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, bastard.
They had found him innocent. But, you know, you don't know. So if you get real nervous, you can strike. That's why he's saying that the lawyers weren't in court, that they would now need time to work out a plea bargain.
That sounds pretty wacky.
I want to see Dominic's law degree.
But that sounds pretty wacky. I mean,
he says it happens all the time.
But what's the bargain? I mean, how much less can you get?
Well, maybe if you were OJ and you were nervous, maybe you would take a second-degree manslaughter charge or something. You know what I mean? You know, guaranteed 7-year jail term as opposed to life sentence.
I don't know. That's tough.
Oh, that's a weird one, man.
Isn't that weird?
I never heard that.
Well, you know, this was Dominic. And I was waiting to hear all the experts say it, but Dominic's the only one who said it.
He's the only lawyer in America that knows it.
Yeah, and then I read Dominic's opinion in the paper today, because last I spoke to him, he says, I'm going to go on and say that he's guilty, that they found him guilty. But let me tell you why he says that, because I said it. Here, I'll tell you something, man. I believe the jury is coming back with a guilty verdict, and I'll tell you why.
Of course.
You got 3 white people on that jury. Okay, now if it's a race issue with black people, and you're assuming that all black people will automatically say, that's it, they can't, what is it?
Dominic.
Oh, Dominic? What happened? I thought you were going to go in the paper and say you thought he was going to be found guilty.
Yeah, well, first of all, when I said that thing about the person pleading guilty and then being not guilty, that was not my case, but that does happen.
Yeah.
There can be plea negotiations till the verdict is read. However, no one else feels it, and I guess really OJ wouldn't allow it. He's going to go for all the cards today.
Really? He's a brave man. I'm going to tell you something. I read your comments in the paper today.
Yeah.
And you said what? Dominic said the following.
Well, it could be innocent because a lot of things, when the jury comes back, it could be innocent. But it could be guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even offer an opinion.
Well, I have to tell you, if I can just say one thing I heard last night that is very, very important, and that is who they chose as the foreperson for the jury is a key.
Now, I'm going to tell you the key to this. I'm going to tell you something. I'm willing to bet money on this, too.
Go ahead.
The jury will find O.J. Simpson guilty. The 3 white people on there would have at least held out. If it even was a race thing, the 3 white people would have held out for a while. I believe
they would have argued.
I believe this jury, the one black juror they dismissed that actually spoke about the case was that black gentleman. I don't know his name. He says O.J. was guilty, and he was one of the guys they were sure
was on their side.
I think that first of all, the jury came back and they asked for the key evidence in the case. They asked to find out the timeline of this limo driver who has no axe to grind whatsoever with O.J. Simpson.
And the defense didn't do anything to question who he was,
right?
His credibility.
And they never addressed the black guy that he saw in the driveway.
Yeah, right. It was like it was like it never happened. It was a whole thing. So, maybe Van Adder and Furman are no good, and they're policemen, and black people hate policemen. The limo driver, hey, man, he's a working stiff. And the only way he could find the number on the house was if the Bronco had been parked there, he wouldn't have seen the number on the house. Did you know that? There's a number on the curb for the house. You can't find the number for the house. Where the Bronco was parked was blocking the number. The only way the guy found the number for O.J. Simpson's house was by looking at the curb. The Bronco was clearly not there, and a black guy walked into the house.
And the lights went on.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's very simple for a jury to understand.
All right, except for that his house is on a corner, so therefore the street names alone will show you where the house is. And what if one juror still believed in guilt, everyone else believed in innocent, and they're saying to that juror, look, don't you understand? He would have known it was O.J. because he saw the person walking in the house. And when asked to describe the person, he said, well, I saw a 6-foot person. What he looked like, he was black, and I saw him, and did he look like O.J.? Yeah, he looked like him, but the person did not say it was O.J.
Yeah,
so you could argue just as well.
See, now that's funny because there was a guy, Geraldo had a great show last night. He had the best coverage. He had like 50 lawyers on.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy on, and he said that if everybody in there thought O.J. was innocent,
Yeah.
right, and there was one guy that thought he was guilty, and they were trying to convert him.
Yeah.
That how could that calling back that testimony? What is in that testimony from the limo driver
That would convince you.
That would convince you.
All right.
That's the damning testimony.
Yeah, unless the one holdout was saying, hey, listen to the limo driver, you know, and then, I just believe there would have been a holdout. I believe they found him guilty. They wouldn't look at O.J. That's supposedly another big sign, you know, that all the lawyers are saying. Even you told me that, Dominic, that when they don't look at the defendant, it's pretty bad.
And yeah, but you have to go one step further with this case, which is different than any other case any of us could think of. They didn't look at him at all, but a lot of people last night, and I thought Geraldo's show was outrageous last night, was so good.
Yeah.
A lot of people last night were saying that they have seen cases where jurors don't look because they don't want to let anyone have a guess at what they're doing.
How exciting is this?
It's incredible.
Unbelievable.
How great is this?
This is the most incredible verdict in the history.
You want to
of the
know
United
something?
States.
But here's it. But wait a second. But here's the deal. I was watching those guys, Evans and not Evans and Novak, but Novak and Kingsley on CNN, and you know the conservative guy and the liberal guy. And the liberal guy said, I'm a lawyer, and I believe that they gave a guilty verdict because all of you are assuming, for some reason, everyone believes that O.J.'s guilty, but you're assuming this jury is incapable. He says, why are you saying that? Now, the other guy, Novak, wouldn't say because the jury's black. He wouldn't say it because he didn't want to go on record, but that's what he was saying. He was saying, yeah, I think he's guilty too, but the jury's going to come back with innocent.
Well, then
There's no logical reason for the jury to come back with innocent except for the fact that they're black people, unless you think black people are incapable of coming up with a decision.
No, I think I think just the opposite. I think that these jurors have been there for so long that race is unimportant. I know that sounds bizarre, but it really could be so. But what's more interesting is how could people say to this man, we're sending you to jail for the rest of your life, and we all know that's what it means.
All right, Dominic, this is you. You're wishy-washy, okay? Now, you're the one attorney in the room.
Back and forth.
Back and forth. Now, just sit still for a second. Fred, what do you believe the jury verdict will be?
I'm hoping for a guilty plea.
I know you're hoping, but what do you think it will be?
I think they'll say guilty.
All right, what do you think, Jackie?
I think murder one.
Murder one. Okay, what do you think?
Nicole.
I'm going with guilty, murder one on Nicole, but not with Ron.
No, if they go murder one with Nicole, that's it. It's
I thought
murder
they could,
one.
No, I thought they could say that
I thought there was a verdict for each of them.
Yeah, there's a verdict
but
for
it
each
doesn't
of
make a difference. If you vote murder one for Nicole, that means a life sentence.
No, but they're saying that it was premeditated to go and kill Nicole,
right,
but not Ron. Ron just happened to be there.
Okay,
to kill
fine.
him.
All right.
That's
So it's
what
like
that's
murder
the verdict.
one and manslaughter.
Murder one and manslaughter is what it is.
Yeah, but I think murder one outweighs manslaughter. Manslaughter doesn't even count.
Right, but
if they say murder one on O.J., forget anything else. It wouldn't matter.
Right, it wouldn't make a difference.
It's life.
Is there
And I
no
am
hope
telling
in
you-
parole if it's murder one?
I am guaranteeing you the O.J. verdict is guilty. There is no way it is innocent. I don't know why it's not obvious.
You know,
now, Dominic, where do you come out on this?
Well, first of all, when I did all the odds that I was going to do the betting,
Yeah.
I had made up a list of sheets of all the odds. A verdict in the first day, I was willing to give 1,000 to 1.
Really?
Am I glad I didn't do that?
Yeah. I would have taken that.
I would have delivered my car.
there was you're talking about like race on the jury and everything. There was this black lawyer on Geraldo last night. And he was saying that he can't believe that it's guilty because he can't believe that these black people are going to have to go back into their communities having given so little thought to O.J.'s innocence or guilt.
They had 9 months to think
but it's
about
not.
it.
It's
all
not.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of how much time you spend. It's if he's guilty, you know it in 3 hours
What do you
or
do?
3 weeks.
Sit there for 3 weeks and pretend that he's not guilty?
But he's saying that's why he knows that they're acquitting because they would never put him away for that long without giving it so little thought.
Oh, come on, that's absurd.
I'm going to give you 2 more factors that even make it more confusing. Number one, they had an ex-juror who wrote a book on Geraldo.
Yeah.
And this was the guy who was very pro-conviction when he left the jury.
Right.
The guy with the white beard. I forget his last name.
What's his name?
Terry Kennedy.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
right. he said last night, he was the last one to give the opinion. He said, in your heart, you know he did it, but I think the jury voted not guilty.
Yeah, well, then there was another jury this morning in the paper who said they voted guilty. He says, yeah, Furman and all that stuff is upsetting, even now that he's off the jury. He said, but the evidence was overwhelming.
Well, then maybe the jury was showing anger to Marsha Clark because they was thinking, Marsha, why do you think we're so stupid? Don't you think a long time ago we know he did it?
Yeah, maybe, but you know what? Her job is to present all the evidence. But you know what else is weird? See, this is what freaks you out about this case, because there's a lot of times you think that it could go the other way, that they're going to vote him innocent, only because, and I keep going back to this, there was a stand-up comedian who gave the jury just a couple of weeks ago a show. Judge Ito tries to get some shows because they're so bored out of their mind. And he went around in the audience and was talking to the jurors, and he said to one of the jurors, hey, what are you going to do when you finally get off this stupid trial? And the woman said, I'm going to throw Mr. O.J. Simpson the biggest party ever. This man has been through hell.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you going to trust a stand-up comedian looking for publicity?
I don't know, but he did go to Judge Ito with it. I don't think some guy would risk, perjury.
Right. Really?
That's scary. The guy did go to Judge Ito and tell him about it, and Judge Ito disregarded it.
Well, you know what's another strange thing?
And then another guy.
That's the worst news we've
And then the
heard.
comic went up to another guy, and he said, I'm going to ask for Mr. O.J. Simpson's autograph.
I'll give you one more factor.
What was the thing about who they elected foreman?
Well, they said that was a good sign because that was a woman who evidently had served on other juries.
Was that the woman who held out and swayed that other jury?
No.
No, what they said about her that's very, very important is, number one, she's a middle-of-the-roader. Number two, she's like a mother image. Number three, she was not part of the black jurors that were revolting. And most important, she sat by herself or with two other very conservative, intelligent jurors, and she was a mediator when there was the problems.
Right.
And they immediately chose her in 2 seconds. Now, I will tell you...
Hey, but Dominic, if this wasn't a black jury, right, you would say, oh, they found him guilty. Because that would be... In fact, everyone in the newspaper, every lawyer is saying, when you get a verdict this quick, it's usually guilty.
Imagine if an all-white jury found him guilty in 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Right.
That would be it. People go nuts. This is great. I mean, if this jury did the right thing, and everyone in the world knows that O.J. did it, and the jury was capable of doing the right thing, it elevates everyone, and it says to every racist, hey, jackass, you said it couldn't be done.
I think you're absolutely
I got to
correct.
admit, I was the guy, I was on the air every day saying, I don't think this black jury is going to be able to convict O.J. And hey, then convince me that I'm wrong.
You know what really made me nuts about this whole thing? Remember those tapes we used to play? Remember when Oliver North went to trial, and we played that tape of the juror, and the guy had like no teeth, and you couldn't understand what he was saying?
Yeah.
Like, you never know. We don't know who these people are.
Right.
We don't know if they're smart or whatever, and it could be, it's anybody. It could be
What
anybody.
chill does it put in your body that thought that they could say not guilty?
If they say not guilty, what? I mean, we're going to be sitting here going, what? I mean, OJ's guilty and he's going free.
I'm going to Cuba.
Well, here's another wacky theory that I heard last night that was killing me. He's not guilty. In other words, if they come in and the foreman says guilty,
right,
OJ, as a defendant, has the right to poll each individual juror.
That's right.
They each can get up, and until each one says it, it's not true. And one of the guys on TV was saying last night that he had a trial where the defendant polled each individual juror. When they got to the fifth one, she changed her mind.
Yeah.
They had to go back in.
Well, that's why there is no reason why Judge Ito should have waited this long.
Wait.
Well, first of all...
Dominic claims Judge Ito waited this long so the defense and the prosecution could work out a plea bargain.
That's a possibility, but I have another question. Let's assume that jury did not know the verdict would not be read, which is true. Obviously, they didn't know. How did they know he'd keep him another night? Do you mean that on that jury that they've sat there for all this time, and they feel bad for O.J., let's assume they voted not guilty.
Right.
Not one of them would look over to O.J. and say, like with a facial
like give a
gesture,
wink.
like, hey, man, I'm sorry, or don't worry, or a little smile,
Yeah.
one more night, kid.
Yeah, don't worry about it, brother.
Not even brother, human to human being. You've been through this horror for 9 months or a year. You lost your ex-wife.
So tell me something. Do you think that Judge Ito? Why would Judge Ito wait a full day to give the verdict? What is this guy? Is this guy in Hollywood or what? I mean, showbiz.
No,
I mean,
they say that he's shoring up Los Angeles.
And come on, shoring up Los Angeles. That's ridiculous. ridiculous.
I think they have to be ready. And I'm gonna tell
You're
you
telling me
something
that,
else.
that black people are going to riot every time there's a... If that's the case, there's going to be a race war in this country.
Well,
I mean, they're going to start bringing out the military.
Well, the other problem is that everybody, including the family members, were scattered. The sisters in St. Louis, Johnny Cochran was in San Diego, Marsha Clark wasn't in town.
Right.
So, and then there was some lawyer on Geraldo last night screaming, you know, how dare Johnny Cochran not be in town while this is going on? How could he leave?
Because he's on to his next celebrity client.
He originally asked for 24 hours after the verdict was in before they read it, and Judge Ito said no, and he gave him 4 hours, and Cochran asked for 6.
You know what I read?
And Ito said no, and he said 4, and he said, let's see where you are when the verdict comes in.
Well, but let me tell you something. You know what I read? This is kind of weird. I read that the jury... And I forgot what I read. You know, let me get it out. Crap. I forget it. What were you just talking about?
I think one of the most interesting things also about all of this is that in the event the jury comes back guilty as quick as they may come back,
Yeah.
an entire cottage industry example, Geraldo's show is totally full of it because there was no racism at all.
I know that'll be weird. I don't know. I just think that they did the right thing and they went in there and said, "Look, the guy's guilty." I mean,
we all panicked.
We should really take bets on not whether he's guilty or not, but how much one of the morning shows is going to pay one of those jurors to get him on tomorrow morning.
Any juror can get $1 million for a book now. Any juror.
Think so?
Absolutely. And if they stood together, if all of them stood together and wanted to do one book, oh, would I like to broker that?
Yeah, right. That would be
race
huge.
to see who gets it out first.
That's right.
Yeah.
I bet you they can have a book out. I would say they can have a book out by Friday. I really do. I
You
think they
nuts?
No, really.
No, they can't have a book out by Friday.
It's going to be okay.
Because I know you
They'll
can't.
call him to be on TV. I'm sorry, I'm typing.
No, but you know what they can do? Yeah, but Gary's right. They have these guys who can knock out these books in 2 seconds.
Man.
And he could just sit with them, and like in 3 weeks, they could have a book out.
There were people that got thrown off the jury for taking notes. They just got caught. Who knows what these jurors...
Yeah, right.
Jotting down notes everywhere.
I don't know, man. The whole thing is just so weird.
I wouldn't be doing that.
It's probably people with books written already and say, "All right, just cross out what's wrong."
Did you read Cindy Adams' column? Did you read Cindy Adams' column? Bernard Goetz. Okay, they interviewed Bernard Goetz.
Yeah.
And they said, what do you think? You think O.J.'s innocent or guilty? He goes, he's definitely guilty. They go, well, why? He goes, because what happened in the limo after O.J. got in the limo and he was complaining about how hot it was and he was sweating. And he says after he shot those guys on the subway, he remembers his body temperature. He just couldn't get it down. It was such a rush of adrenaline after shooting somebody that he couldn't stop sweating, and he kept drinking and drinking water. He just couldn't cool his body down. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Yeah, so it was just like, and according to the column, Alan Parks, the limo driver, was describing O.J. being flushed and needing to drink water, complaining how hot the limo was.
Do you think the jury might be disappointed that Cochran had made promises about showing how O.J. was hitting golf balls, and that obviously never happened?
Right.
And also the fact that O.J. was making telephone calls from his mobile phone, and why would he be doing that if
he's home?
Yeah, other than if he's in his car.
Well, the other thing is, if they're saying that the jury was probably very angered by the fact that O.J. never got up, said he was innocent.
Major point.
Yeah, but
he's acted guilty.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what.
It's true. The Menendez brothers got up and took the stand.
And it doesn't matter about legal tactics. A
Right.
jury wants to see a guy get up and say, "Hey, man, I didn't do it."
Right.
And also, I still say, I say a major point in this case was that it looked like he had hired the entire world to defend him. I would have liked to see Johnny Cochran wearing sneakers with no socks, standing there alone like Mike Tyson fighting the world.
Yeah, I know. Look, I don't know, man. I don't know if any of that matters. I'm just telling you that they're guilty. Anybody want to bet?
No,
I think we're all.
I think we're all in agreement. That's the problem.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not
You
sure
think they-
anymore, I swear.
All right,
Want
so
to
what
cover
is it?
the action, Dom?
Come on, Dominic,
Well,
take us all on.
You know the funny part is,
You think the jury's coming in with a verdict of innocent?
first of all, you know that I couldn't sleep all night, and when I can't sleep, you know what I do. I'm
Yep,
up
you
a
ate.
suit size.
What did you eat last night?
I'm up a suit size.
You would have thought Dominic was the lawyer on this case.
I swear, I told you yesterday, Howard.
It's the most exciting case ever.
I actually, when you get a verdict, let me just describe one thing for all of you. The jury faces you. You're all standing. That's how they do it in New York. I don't know how they do it in L.A. And
In L.A., they give you a director's chair. You're allowed
they
to sit
say
in
to
that.
you, wait a minute, they say to you, and so how do you find this defendant? Now remember, those words guilty or not guilty, is the rest of this man's life. I don't care. It's the quintessential moment of everything. Now, let me...
Quintessential.
Thank you. Now, I have been involved in a case where the juror said the wrong thing. I was once when I was a lawyer. I was trying a case, and the jury said, "Not guilty. I mean guilty."
Ah, that's funny. That'd be great.
The guy went down for the count.
That's
great.
great.
The guy said, I don't want to read this verdict for Coca-Cola or something like
Do
that.
the people's hands shake when they read the...
Well, sometimes after then you have the polling, which is very... Remember, there's going to be 48 questions asked.
Wait a second.
Only if the lawyers want it.
Nah, they always do it.
Will they poll this jury? I mean, will they make each individual person get up and say guilty?
On every... Not up. They don't have to stand up, but they will ask each jury each question. So there's going to be at least... for 2 verdicts, 24 questions.
Right, for each juror.
The guy said on CNN last night that he didn't think they were going to do that.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, it depends on the verdict.
Well, maybe not guilty, because if it's not guilty, it's going to be so devastating that if it's not guilty, I suggest to you that Gil Garcetti will be packing up a suitcase. He'll be waving to L.A. After Menendez...
If it's not guilty, the only reason that it is not guilty is because of the race issue, and no one's going to blame Gil Garcetti except for the fact that he delivered an all-black jury.
How about that he chose these 2 prosecutors?
I know.
But wait a second.
I don't think they did such a bad job. I mean, everyone, I've heard lawyers criticize them. I think Marcia Clark did a fine job. Listen, you know what? If it was a tougher case, you'd say they were crummy lawyers, but this thing was so overwhelming that they did a fine job. I don't even think Christopher Darden was that bad.
I think Chris Darden's summation
was good.
The final summation was the most incredible moment in this trial when he looked at those jurors and said, "Listen, man, to the black jurors, this is no Hitler case.
Right.
This is Martin Luther King case." And you know what? That means something.
Really, man.
Yeah, but you're also talking an $80,000 prosecutor versus $10 million.
Yeah, but you don't realize how much money is behind the prosecution. Right. They have every. They have It's
Did you
not.
see the time chart? The time chart was incredible.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, I mean, they probably hired Disney to put that together for them. It was animated.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you consider that, what about the pictures of the street? Where did they get them from? From a satellite up in space. That there was no car there.
I know.
And you know that Shapiro's got his press conference scheduled for later on today, so he can distance himself from Johnny Cochran's Hitler comments.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, after the trial, he's going to distance himself.
When nobody's listening.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wish they would just release the verdict already so we could talk about it.
What's going to happen when it's over?
Yeah, and I don't feel like doing a show about anything else. I mean, I was going to bring in a couple of girls this morning since Robin isn't here, but
we should do that anyway.
But don't you think
you can bring them in and ask them their opinion?
Why don't we bring girls in?
Topless.
We need some. Hey, by the way, since it's just all guys, we need some nude girls, or if any girls can get down here and want to party with a group of horny guys.
And might I say, could we have some nude girls?
Why don't we have some OJ partying music and we could dance and.
Yeah, you
conviction party.
Maybe we should all just. I don't know what we should do today. I'm kind of perplexed. The verdict is guilty. By the way, repeating we all agree the verdict is guilty. There's just no way that in a 4-hour verdict, and then they coming out and of course asking for that evidence from the limo driver. Guilty. You believe that?
Did you bet?
I have no one to bet with. No one will bet.
Yeah, murder won.
Murder won. Guilty.
Yeah.
Murder won.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah, race war. Yeah. Pot shots. Yeah, kill Whitey. Yeah.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back right after these.
Yeah, big bunkers. Yeah.
You know what I was reading, too, that was weird about this? Judge Ito was really irresponsible in making the jury, wait until, what is it? I guess in Los Angeles, 1 o'clock in the afternoon to read this verdict because, if a juror dies before the verdict is read, the verdict is useless, and a juror overnight could change his mind. Yes, if a juror dies, the juror can't be polled.
I was going to ask somebody if that's ever happened.
They talked about that on the show last night.
It's in the paper today.
And they just said that the jury has to go back in and redeliberate. It's not like a mistrial.
Yeah, but the point is, the verdict is rendered useless.
Oh, absolutely.
And overnight, a juror could change his mind.
That's right.
Because when they poll the jury, Or be swayed, right?
Or something crazy like
That's
that.
right. Anything weird could happen.
What if a guy?
That's right, OJ.
Maybe a guy picks up the phone and calls his wife and says, "I don't know how closely they're being monitored."
Right. OJ, has that ever happened? No, he can't. He's sequestered. He can't call his wife.
Can't call
What's the
anybody.
matter with you, Baba Booey?
Call Las Vegas.
Slowly. Slowly.
No, he can't call
No,
his
I
wife.
weren't sure how sequestered they were. I wasn't sure if they were allowed to talk to their
they're sequestered.
their wives at some point.
No, you can't talk to your wife. That's why they all signed up for jury duty. They didn't want to talk to their wives. And did you see for the first time when Judge Ito, when the evidently three buzzers meant we have a verdict, and Judge Ito was just like, they said, well, where was Judge Ito? He was just like hanging out somewhere. As soon as he got on camera and the jury came in with a verdict, his eyes popped wide open, like his eyes were as wide as sausage.
They went to full mast?
Yeah, they went to. It was like the first time, he was like, "What? You have what?
Come on, you idiots! We got to get out of the courtroom."
He turned Caucasian.
His eyes opened up and he went white.
There's a verdict. Oh man, what will the ratings be?
Certainly.
105, the OJ verdict comes out. 105 and 30 seconds later, Judge Ito announces his book deal with HarperCollins. That's my prediction.
Goodbye, Shapiro Cochran. Hello, Harper Collins.
What is his advance going to be?
I don't know.
Goodbye, Gavel. Hello, Pulitzer.
Yeah.
Hello, Judith Regan.
What are you going to name your book?
Sloppy Seconds.
Really? You're going to steal that title, huh?
No, Judith said no.
Oh, no?
How about Ito, a lesbian?
No, won't work. No. You're on the air.
Raw fish and Negroes?
Raw fish and Negroes? I don't think so. Every time there's a verdict against a black guy, we're going to have a tantrum thrown by the black community? That's absurd. Then they can't live in this country. As a race of people, they will not be allowed to live in this country. I mean, you can't have that. You can't have a tantrum every time somebody's found guilty. And by the way, I happen to think that most black people think OJ's guilty, despite what you're reading.
Yeah, no, a lot of them do. A lot that I've talked to do, but it's funny because if you look at now, the way they pair up cops here are like a black cop and a white cop because they always ride doubles.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird, and like I see cops waving to kids, like after that whole Furman crap came out.
Well, I think, like Santa Claus. They should dress up in big giant Santa Claus outfits and hand out candy. Yeah, big PR campaign. Ho, 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 we're the LAPD. Hello, black kids. How are you?
What do you want this year?
What do you want this year, Jamel? Well, you know what's up with that. I would love some,
What's up, brother?
Ho, ho, ho. Yo, yo, yo. Ho, ho, ho. Hello, Tanisha.
Anyway,
what was that, Foberta yesterday?
Yeah, Foberta.
Classic.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel's with the Ku Klux Klan. We'll hear his. Here, listen, we're getting everyone's point of view. So I guess you heard the news last night that they reached a verdict, the jury.
Yeah, they reached a verdict.
They sure did. Now, what is your prediction? What will you be watching TV today at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll watch it, but I ain't no need to. I know what it's going to be.
What do you think it's going to be?
I found him not guilty.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
What? Yeah.
Now, there are white people on the jury, so...
They ain't no white people.
Two of them.
10 niggers and 2 whites. If 2 whites will be scared to say anything.
I say. You think that the white... Now, listen, if you were on that jury...
If I was on the jury, I'd let him go, too.
You would?
Yeah.
Why would you let him go?
Well, I said before, he done us a favor. He killed a white slut. The Bible said when you lay down with a beast, you should be put to death. So he just done what he should have done.
Who could have predicted this one? You would have voted innocent. I'd have let him go and hope he moved to my hometown and marry some of these white sluts around here. Yeah, and then if he married some of those...
Yeah.
But you think O.J.'s guilty, don't you?
Well, I know he's guilty.
Right.
But he should be turned loose still because he didn't... he didn't really do nothing that... He's just an animal. I mean, you can't punish dogs for fighting.
So your take is on this that he will be found innocent. Now, a lot of the experts are predicting that because of the 4-hour deliberation and the fact that they went out and asked for this evidence, you know, where they wanted to know what the limo driver thought, that he will be found guilty.
No, there ain't no way 10 niggers has found him guilty, because they got to go home.
I see. So you're saying when a black person goes back to the black community,
he's going to have to face them other niggers.
I see. And they would, well, don't you think that people can rise? What will you think of black people if this black jury does find him guilty? Will your opinion change? That throws off your whole racial thinking.
It ain't going to happen. If they find him guilty, they'll burn L.A. down. That'll prove me right again. I can't lose.
Really? You cannot lose. I see. And you will be happy if L.A. burns down, right?
Yeah, I'd rather than find him guilty so the niggers are right and really wake up a few more white people, but they ain't going to do it. They're going to find him not guilty and let him go, and maybe he'll marry another white slut.
Well, there you go. There is an opinion that a lot of people were waiting for, to hear Daniel Carver, the Ku Klux Klan man. He says if he's innocent, that's good because O.J. will get out and kill more white sluts.
He didn't do anything wrong.
And if he's guilty, that'll be good for the Ku Klux Klan because black people will burn down their own neighborhoods and kill each other.
Yeah.
I see. Well, isn't that an interesting opinion? No one could have predicted that you would, if you sat on the jury, you would have voted innocent.
Oh, yeah, I'd have let him go. I'd have got Wayne Williams out of jail if I could have. We tried to go on his bond.
Right.
He killed these 21 little niggers down here in Atlanta.
I said Wayne Williams was the man who killed children, didn't he? Black children?
Yeah, he killed them. He was cleaning up Atlanta. They put him in jail for it.
Okay. All right, Daniel, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your opinion.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, there he is. There's Daniel Carver. That guy has the most original opinions I've ever heard.
Man.
Got a lot of heart.
NBC has Jack Ford. We have Daniel Carver.
Oh, there is not a more consistent human being on the planet.
Either way, I'll win.
He killed the beast.
I got to take a break. We'll be back right after these words.
And all these other guys were here. Where's the part you get to play when Fred sits there and listens to you but doesn't chime in? It was my idea to do the retrospective. How come Fred cannot join in, but he can play a cart trashing me?
Well, let's see him do it again.
Look out. Yeah, get to it.
Wolf. All right. All right, do me a favor.
Joke's over.
Look up in the. Didn't Gary say we'd never call him Baba Booey after the first day?
I guess that joke's worn its way out.
Yeah.
It's wearing its way out as big as your pants are wearing out, fat boy.
Okay, let's do this.
Jesus.
Take a look in the computer. Okay. 2 times I interviewed O.J. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
we did it on the air,
so.
like a phony O.J. thing, like we had his voice. We chopped up the tape. All right. I'm going to take a break. I'll open up our phones. It's been a busy morning. Wolf. The suspense is killing me. I don't know about you. I can't think about anything else. It's just too much fun. And we were thinking that they should mic O.J.'s pants.
Oh, man.
Your Honor, he is guilty. Guilty, murder 1.
Why don't we just put flies in the courtroom, and the flies will go immediately to O.J.'s backside.
See where they go?
Yeah. New York, you're on the air. My phones are out again. Damn.
Howard.
Yeah.
How you doing?
All right. This is a lot of fun, this whole O.J. thing, isn't it? What are we going to do when it's over?
What's going to be like? Yeah, it's going to be like
Life without O.J.
This is the biggest joke I ever heard in my life.
That's right.
Have you gotten the Globe yet?
What, the pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, man. It's got to be him.
It's got to be him. Of course it's him. Of course it's him. The funny part is just to see other...
The thing is, if you watch the TV, it's like everybody in the world is saying it's, there's not enough evidence.
what evidence do you need?
I'm going to be proud of black people, at least the ones on the jury, especially because everyone was going, well, black people can't find him guilty. I think they did it. I think they found him guilty.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to even take them a day to decide it.
You know what I hope? I hope there's another murder today so that we can get right back. I hope another celebrity kills somebody.
You know, it's going
to suck without the O.J. trial.
I mean, I'm addicted to it. I'm not even ashamed of it.
Don't you think like a celebrity who hasn't been doing that well should maybe murder someone and they could get this kind of attention?
It was like, I think it was Gary Shandling said, who would have known?
Right.
They was going to be so hot, you know?
Yeah. Everyone was turning O.J. down as a guest. Who would have known O.J. was so hot?
It's like...
the World Series is going to seem like nothing now. Everything will pale in comparison.
Just yawn.
1 o'clock is... I mean, do you work for a living?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? You got to be near a TV. All work will shut down.
The whole world is going to shut down at 1 o'clock.
Where do you work?
I got my own alarm company.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have a job today that you're just going to have to not go to.
Yep. I've got to put everything off today. I'm taking the whole day off. I just got to see. I mean, I've been sitting near the TV just to find out if there's going to be a leak, you know.
The whole country will be shut down.
Bars.
Yeah, bars,
TV,
everything.
The TVs will be on, the bars will be packed.
Stock market.
It's sickening.
Where are you going to be watching it, Jackie?
I don't know yet. I don't know whether to stay in the city or...
I'm supposed to be in the city editing.
Didn't they raise security in the city?
What?
Didn't they raise security? I mean, aren't the cops like
no.
in the city too?
Yeah,
no, the blacks in New York aren't going to riot.
No.
They don't riot over stuff like that. That's up to the Los Angeles blacks to riot. Our blacks will behave.
I'm really worried about civilization as a whole because I mean I'm trying to raise a young daughter here, and I mean I just can't believe the attitude of the world. I mean, who the hell would think that this? You know, there's absolutely no other suspect. There's nobody anywhere.
That's right. And then when the jury asked for that guy's, that whole sort of chain of events with the limo driver, it was obvious that he's guilty.
I'm telling you, man, I love.
I think it's going to be great. I think OJ's going to poop his pants. And I would guess that when you first found, I think he's probably going to say, listen, no matter what happens, I'm on TV. I don't want to look like a wimp. But at the same point, it's going to overcome him.
It's good.
And I think he's going to. Imagine he faints. That would be great.
How can he wake up every day and face the public and face people?
But I don't think he'll faint.
The camera and the acting and everything. I mean, it's like with the gloves and the face.
Here's the deal. I think if you really did it, which I think he did, which I believe he did.
I was convinced right away.
I think that when they say he's guilty, in a way, it's going to be okay for him because he's always expected to go to jail for this. You know what I mean? I think that.
Boy, I'd love to know what's in his head.
I mean, he knows he deserves to go to jail.
I mean,
it's not like a guy who didn't do it is going to jail.
But everybody says he's always felt like he's above everybody, and you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something.
I don't know.
I've been caught in situations, when I was a kid, the place where you shouldn't be drinking beer and so on, and the cops come over and harass you and give you a kick in the ass and everything else like that. I mean,
right.
I've been pulled over for going 10 miles an hour over the limit, gotten a ticket for it. You get the points on your license and everything. I mean, all kinds of harassment. I have long hair. And, I'm harassed. I mean, a cop wanted to give me four tickets once because I had my lights turned off. He wanted to give me a ticket for each tail light and each headlight. And, I mean, if I just don't understand. If this
do you have a point?
I'd be serving my time.
Oh, I can't take this guy.
It
This guy's
sounded like
annoying.
he was going somewhere for a minute.
I thought he was going to say that, he used to wet his pants when cops would pull him over, but he wasn't saying that.
Trivial stuff.
Yeah. He's saying, hey, I'm a white guy, and I've been pulled over by the police. Wants to hear that, Rob.
At 1 o'clock, they're going to have the back of OJ's ass and the CNN logo in the corner.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
Wouldn't it be great if they said...
Big bag of duty.
They said he was guilty. You just turn around and cold cock Cochran or one of the guys.
But you understand what I'm saying? Don't you think he's going to be okay? Like it's kind of like, hey, man, I know I did it, so who am I kidding? At least I'm not going to the chair.
Do you think he should just get jail for the beatings before all of this?
Of course. Do you think that... I mean, in the back of his mind, he's always known he's guilty. Do you think he's actually convinced himself that he's innocent?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well,
then
not
he'll
that
crap
he's
his
innocent,
pants.
but that maybe the
chance.
lawyers have him convinced that they're going to get him off.
Yeah. It's going to be funny. I just hope he passes out, but he won't. Because I think when it first happens to you, it's almost like in a movie, like you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, big deal. I'm going to jail. And then all of a sudden it hits you later, like, no, you're never leaving jail.
All right, you're the cameraman. And they say he's guilty. Where do you go? You got his family, you got the Goldmans, you got OJ.
They need a 12-camera shoot.
They need like one of those screens.
That's right. Should be allowed.
Like the Brady Bunch. Like 9 different shots.
Yeah, they should do it in 9 squares.
Yeah. So you got a shot
like Alice the maid could be Fred Goldman. Mr. Brady's square. Yeah, Susan Olsen square could be one. It could be OJ. OJ should be in the middle. looking up and down at all his different squares.
Like looking around to see everybody's.
And one of the squares should be O.J.'s sister, the one with the big gold braid that runs across her eyebrows.
Here's the verdict. Let's watch their faces.
Hey, by the way, here's O.J. Mask, everyone, for probably the final time. Hey, O.J. Mask, how you doing?
What's happening? That big crybaby.
This is O.J.
Big crybaby.
Who's a crybaby?
Goldman's father. What a crybaby. It was an accident. I tripped.
What?
It was an accident. I tripped.
You think you're going to be innocent?
Oh, definitely.
You're definitely going to be...
the best lawyer.
You do?
He's better than Calhoun.
Look at O.J. Mask.
I'm so scared.
And he's got on Scott's toupee, too.
Oh, this is great. It's great to be free. Free at last, free at last.
You think you're going to be found innocent?
I'm definitely innocent.
Yeah, you looked at all the black people on the jury and you know they're going to stick with you?
I robbed them all. I mean, I got them all gifts.
Notice that the jury did not look at you. That's a very bad sign,
I'll
O.J.
kill
Mask.
them if they look at me.
Do the women look like they're sympathetic to you? Because a lot of people are saying that the women, in fact, are the ones who are going to relate to all this abuse stuff. Maybe they really went and voted guilty.
I never beat her. Only when she didn't listen.
Right. O.J. Mask.
Oh, man. That big crybaby.
If they find you guilty, were you making your pass?
No, I'm wearing a diaper. I'm wearing Depends.
They should give him Depends. That's good. They should give you a diaper. O.J. Mask, you'll join us when we get back. I have to take a break, okay?
Okay.
All right, O.J. Mask, everybody, is here. Everybody loves O.J. Mask.
Yeah.
Oh, now we can... Hey, his mask just came off.
Oh, put it on.
Put your mask back on, man.
That's worse.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back right after these words.